Hi, welcome to the studio. Today I'm going to be working on some more tissue paper pieces with just by hand printing them, rolling ink out onto plastic and then taking a print. If you want to know more about my process and hand printing, subscribe to the channel. If you want to know more about me and my work, then pop along to my website, that's ruthander.co.uk. You can join my mailing list there. You can find out all about courses and workshops as well. So these are the pieces that I'm going to be working on today. This was actually my last video. I added these lovely sort of what I call drifts of colour over the bottom half here, and I really like them, and it's really coming together, so that's great. But I just want to add a bit more lightness to this bottom half here, and maybe some line work. I'll see how I go. And then I've also been working on this one, which again is another seascape. These are actually older prints. I haven't touched them for a long time. So it's really nice to just come back to them and re-look at them and see what they might need. So I've added this kind of like very bright yellowy green colour here. And then I think I'm going to add some darkness and even worse weather to the top half there as well. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is roll out some very light colour. This is basically white, just with a little bit of a little bit of Prussian blue and a tiny bit of yellow as well. Often when you mix the colours, they seem light, but actually when you come to use them, they're a lot darker, and they really aren't contrasty enough with what you already have. So I usually err on the side of making them lighter, mixing them lighter than I think. Okay, so I'm just going to roll some of this on straight on here. So as you can see, I've got some quite strong roller marks there, some straight lines. I think I do want to soften those up a little bit. So I'm going to keep rolling. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a little rag here to just soften the ink on the edges of the roller itself, so I don't get these really, really straight lines. And I just basically just take a little bit of kitchen towel and I just put it on the edge of the roller and roll it round, and that takes a little bit of the ink off. I'm just going to add a little bit of white here as well, or light here, just by pressing in the roller. And I'll show you what mark that makes. Just there. I just pressed it, I didn't really roll it. So I think that's really lightened up the picture a bit. I think it still needs a little bit more, but I'm going to put that aside for a moment. So I am now going to use a much darker colour. This is a sort of purpley, dark purple colour, and I've rolled it out. I haven't gone right up to the edges of the roller because that hopefully will give me a nice soft edge to it. Now what's happening here is a couple of things. Not enough ink on my roller, so I'm going to put some more on. But also it's picking up every tiny little bit of grit or dust or whatever on the back here. So I'm just going to give it a wipe. Okay, let's put some more ink out. So here I am rolling wet oil paint onto dry oil paint, I suppose, very thin layers of dry oil paint. This piece was originally started, a long time ago, actually, a very long time ago. So you do need a bit more paint or ink when you're rolling onto dry paint. Let's try that. There we go. Ah, that's a bit more interesting. That's really interesting, actually. So we're getting some roller marks, which is I'm allowing because kind of looks a bit like rain, which is nice. And it's also not really rolling very evenly, which again, I quite like. So I'm going to allow for that. I'm just going to leave that as it is. Let's see what I can do here. I want it to come down. Okay, so lots of quite serendipitous marks here. It's quite difficult to show you this tissue paper. So this was where it didn't really roll very evenly. It went a bit kind of splurgy, but I like it. It looks a bit rain-like. This is where the roller marks down made lines down. Again, I like that because it kind of looks like rain, or could be interpreted as rain. And then we've got these really, really soft gradations of colour where I've just rolled the roller over a few times, which again I think kind of could be interpreted as rain or bad weather. So I'm really liking that. So don't plan too much, go with the marks that just come naturally, and enjoy it. Now I've just discovered actually, while I was just playing around, that when I roll the roller over the bit that I've just inked, the wet ink, it leaves nice roller marks, just really subtle, slightly lighter marks, which again could be interpreted as rain. And when I go over the lighter bits, it kind of does darker marks. Don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but that was just a nice little discovery. So I'm gonna leave those in for the finished piece. So I just thought I'd show you. I got a little bit distracted here, and I started doing a little bit of work on this tissue paper piece as well. And I've been trying to put some dark in the sky over here. And it's not working because there's lots of ink, dry ink already on it, or dry paint already on it. So what I've done is I have rolled out some of the dark ink here, and I've done it quite haphazardly, and I've left the roller marks in, and I've put a lot of ink on there, so that hopefully it's going to kind of splurge in rather nice ways, and I hope that this paper with the dry paint already on it will pick it up. So I'm just going to place the paper where I want this to be. I'm going to just gently push it on, and then I'm going to take my Baron. So this is a Baron, but you can get all sorts of different types. This is just quite a sturdy, long-lasting one. And I'm going to take a piece of scrap paper as well, just to protect the back of my print, because it is tissue paper. It's fairly strong. Oh, there we go, it's moved. It's fairly strong, but it can rip. I'm just going to check that that's okay. Right, okay, that has moved a bit, but I'm just going to keep going with it. And I'm going to press sort of down and along, so hopefully this isn't going to move too much. And I've got my hand holding both the scrap paper and the tissue steady. So one hand holding it steady. This is one of the problems with dry paint or ink. It can slip and slide around on your surface when you're trying to take a print. So just be really careful, placing one hand on the print to keep it steady. Right, let's see if that's worked. Aha, it has. It's certainly taken a lot more ink than me just rolling it on. And it has picked up the roller mark here, down there, and it's picked up some nice splurges as well. So happy with that.